Welcome back. Week 13, Monday Night Football Prop Shop Edition. I am your host, Bobby Stanley, also known as PropHolliday on Twitter. Rocking with the GoldBoys. Quick recap of last night. Josh Allen, 1 unit, top shelf TD score. Scored in epic fashion in his first one. We also hit 2 touchdowns last night, making it our third 2-touchdown performer on the season. He goes up in the prop shop rafters with a Sam Laporta on Thanksgiving at 22-1, and Alan Lazard week 1, 2 touchdowns. I tell him what was it, 80-1 plus 10,000. This was Alan Lazard. You were somewhat in on it with me. You remember? If not, I think it was 80-1. Yeah, 80-1 on Lazard. So we got 3 2-touchdown performers on the way. We are rolling in the touchdown liquor cabinet. NBA tonight, meh. Kind of a mess slate. Tomorrow's the NBA Cup game, so we only have 4. Half of the Heat and Celtics are out. We're still waiting on lineups on that. We get the Bulls and Nets, Dyson Daniels and DeJounte Murray revenge game, which everybody was looking forward to. And then the Lakers and T-Wolves in the late spot, which is the saving grace, but unfortunately I won't be awake to watch it. Couple plays out there. We'll talk a little bit about NBA later in the show, but for tonight's game, we get more Jameis Winston after Week 12's Snow Bowl against the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. The Browns head to Denver to take on the heavily favored Broncos. Snow is not on the radar, so that is fun to bet for anyone who is betting overs or receiving yards like I did yesterday with Khalil Shakir. The other quarterback in this duel is rookie Bo Nix. He's ascended into the top 2 of Offensive Rookie of the Year discussion. He won 2 straight games. He went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. Lost because of the refs, which, not his fault. Broncos sit at 7-5, currently the 7th seed in the AFC. If the playoffs started today, wide receiver Jerry Jeudy for the Cleveland Browns gets a bit of a reunion, bit of a homecoming back to the Denver Broncos, the team that drafted him. He played 4 years with. Cedric Tillman, Denver Broncos wide receiver. Cedric Tillman, Cleveland Browns wide receiver, is out tonight. Cornerback for the Broncos, Riley Moss, is out tonight. Total sits at a tantalizing 41.5. Up from 40.5 earlier this morning. Weather is clear, but the elevation, I feel like, always plays a factor when you're in Denver. So keep that in mind if you're betting. As far as where I'm leaning, I like the Broncos to cover, and I like the over. Let's say 24-14, 24-14. Maybe 24-17 is what I'm looking at tonight on the Broncos. Bo Nix will continue his Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign. Josh just paid for 3 months of the GoldBoys. No, Sizzy P. Josh paid for 3 months of the prop shop. I have to plug my own Discord here, but it's not a big deal. They're good guys at the GoldBoys. You got your money's worth. All right, first play of the night. Gave this out in the prop shop Discord. Bo Nix over 18.5 rushing yards. Gave that out Sunday morning. It is now 23.5. Yes, I would still play it there. Bring that unit size down a little bit. Go from 1 unit to 0.75, but Nix has made strides in the passing game over the last 3. He has 8 touchdowns to 0 interceptions, completing 71% of his passes. The rushing attempts have taken a dip. I'm expecting that to return tonight. For starters, the Browns allow the 4th most rushing attempts per game to opposing quarterbacks this season. That's 5.82. When Nix sees 5 rush attempts in a game, he hits this line in 5 of 8 games. Browns are 3rd in the NFL in pressure rate. That's Myles Garrett barreling down your throat. Can he get Bo Nix to tuck it and get out of the pocket and pick up some easy yards tonight? I like Nix, obviously over 18.5, 20.5. If you're at 23.5, consider throwing something else in an alt line there. Maybe you're throwing 175 passing yards for Nix. Maybe you take an alt total, but I like Nix to have a little bit more rushing than we've seen in the last 3. It's a good defense to do that against. And Nix in primetime should load up on that Offensive Rookie of the Year stock. Jaden Daniels coming off a big game yesterday. I want everyone to I'm trying to be a little bit more involved in the chat. I know I got my script up, but I want to talk to you guys more in the chat. Before we go into play 2, Bet365, our favorite book on this podcast, is giving new users a choice between 2 fantastic offers. Either get a safety net on your first bet up to $1,000, or bet $5 and get 115 bonus bets. It's your call. Click the link in the description to pick the offer that's right for you. Must be 21 plus, 18 plus in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. I give this example a lot. I think every single time that I've given this, save it for a hedge situation. Me and the fellas in the prop shop, we have a hedge situation tonight. It's Cortland Sutton, the last leg of our alt line parlay. We need him 60 plus receiving yards. And I think it pays something like 10-1, right? So we have like $25 to win like 260. What we're doing, we're hedging. I went over to ESPN Bet. I got 69.5. The under is plus 100. So I threw 100 bucks on that, and I'm locking in profit. And I have the chance to middle, which is always an exciting opportunity. So finally get a hedge example I can share with you guys. Go Cortland Sutton. Let's land on 65 receiving yards tonight. Play number 2, Elijah Moore, Cleveland Browns, over 4.5 receptions at minus 105. Going 1 unit on Elijah Moore. I guess I'm just quietly a closet Elijah Moore fan. I've had him in a couple plays over the course of the season. I played him a lot last season when he went over to the Browns, former second-round pick, extremely talented. Hasn't really shaken out, but we still get glimpses every so often. Everybody's going to be all over Judy's return. Patrick Surtain should be all over Judy. Cedric Moore is out. Cedric Tillman is out. Elijah Moore, he's been number 2 in targets, I think, over the last 3 weeks, even with Tillman in the lineup. So I like him in this spot with Jameis Winston. Number 2 in targets since Winston's become starting quarterback. He faced another man-heavy team tonight. This Denver Broncos team, I think they're top 5 in man defense rate. And I look at 2 weeks ago when Moore played the New Orleans Saints, he had 8 targets, 6 receptions, and a touchdown. And I think they're number 9th in the league in man-heavy front. So a little bit there for his a bit of an angle there for Elijah Moore playing against these man-heavy defenses. Surtain over on Judy. You could go in Njoku. A lot of people are on Jordan Atkins. I think his line's like 15.5 because they're playing a man defense. I think they're expecting a little bit more 12 personnel, some 2 tight ends. I like Elijah Moore tonight, 4.5 receptions. We're going to talk about him a little bit later in the cross-sport parlay, but 4.5 receptions is a 1 unit play for me. Before we go into the infamous touchdown liquor cabinet, let's hear a couple words from my boy Brad.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the GoldBoys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the GoldBoys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Get your cocktails ready. Touchdown liquor cabinet for night. Top shelf, mid shelf, well vodka. Top shelf, 1 unit. Getting good odds on Cortland Sutton. Plus 165. He's been rolling lately the last few weeks. Really looking like a wide receiver 1. Plus 165. Decent value over on DraftKings. So I'm going 1 unit on Sutton. We're all over him in the prop shop. I think he's in for a big game tonight. So give me Sutton at plus 165 for my top shelf. Mid shelf, my boy Elijah Moore. Plus 300. I think it's plus 310 on FanDuel if you want the extra juice. I didn't have the funds in there that I wanted to lay this, but Elijah Moore at 3-1. Like I said, he scored in that game against New Orleans, against those man-heavy fronts. They're a pass-heavy offense with Jameis Winston. Nick Chubb has not looked the same. You may want to go in a Jerome Ford route if you're looking on that mid-shelf. Before I go into well vodka, let me go to the chat real quick. Atkins anytime touchdown plus 1,000 I actually like. I do think they're going to see a little bit more 12 personnel. Lil Jordan Humphrey, Thrash, beat us. I don't know who Thrash is, but Lil Jordan Humphrey, I know exactly who that is. Elijah Moore on the mid shelf. Go half a unit on Elijah Moore at 3-1. Well, Vaca is another guy you've heard from me before. Notre Dame rookie running back Audric Estime plus 500 over on FanDuel. Go a quarter of a unit on this. They're doing a running back by committee in Denver. It's McLaughlin, it's Javonte Williams, and it's Audric Estime. I took a look at my favorite stats over on PFF, the offensive line stats. 18 rush attempts inside the 5-yard line for the Cleveland Browns. I think that's bottom 10 in the league, and a 50% hit rate for running backs on rush attempts inside the 5 against Cleveland. So Audric Estime, if he finally gets some carries inside the goal line, plus 500 for him to score. Go a quarter of a unit on that. And Jordan Atkins, I like that at 10-1. Someone threw that in the chat. I'm gonna throw a couple bucks on that. That is my Will Vodka. Cross Sport Parlay. I love these. These are so much fun. We hit one of these already this season. We have a couple go down to the wire. But tonight, decent for it between the NFL and the NBA. Elijah Moore, 6+ receptions. 8 targets, 6 receptions against the Saints. I'm going to keep hammering that man coverage angle. I think it's like plus 200 on Elijah Moore. That's my first leg. Second leg, DeJounte Murray, The return to Atlanta, the failed experiment with Trae Young. He comes back with the Pelicans, 25-plus points for DeJounte Murray. And closing it with Nikola Vucevic, Chicago Bulls, 25-plus points. He had 32 points his last game against Boston. He had 28 against the Nets earlier in the season. There is no Ben Simmons. I do think Claxton's playing, but I'm not too concerned about that. These three legs, I think, are 37-1. So $20 is like 700. So Elijah Moore, 6 receptions. DeJounte Murray, 25-plus points. Nikola Vucevic, 25-plus points. None of these are absurd. We're not doing triple doubles. I'm not doing 40 points, and I don't have 8 legs. I got 37-1 on these 3 legs across NFL and NBA tonight. Back recap on the liquor cabinet. Cortland Sutton, 1 unit, plus 165 touchdown. Elijah Moore, half unit, plus 300 touchdown. Audric Estemi, the rookie from Notre Dame. He will get in the end zone, goddammit, and we will bet him. Plus 500 over on FanDuel. And then my 2 favorite plays, Elijah Moore over 4.5 receptions, and Bo Nix over 18.5 rushing yards, over 23.5 rushing yards. Just bring the unit size down a little bit. He's going to get he's going to get more runs than we've seen the last 3 games. This is it for me, guys. I will see you Thursday night. We will have more NBA and NFL. I thank you for tuning in. And go Broncos? Nah, I don't really care that much. Take care, guys.